Any discussion? All in favor of going into executive session, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, state so by saying nay. All right.
Motion to come out of executive session. Second.
Got a second? Any discussion? All in favor of coming out of executive session, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
And now we need to certify the results of executive session. The certification of executive session, and whereas the Tazewell Town Council is convened in executive session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote, and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas 2.1-344.1 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by this council that such executive session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved, the Tazewell Town Council hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, one, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the executive session to which the certification resolution applies. And two, only such public business matters were identified in the motion convened the executive session were heard, discussed, or considered by the Tazewell Town Council. So I need a roll call vote to certify. Vice Mayor Beasley.
Aye.
Councilmember Klein.
Aye.
Councilmember Fox.
Aye.
Councilmember Hankins.
Aye.
Councilmember Willis.
Aye.
All right, so we're now out of executive session. All right, so we're going to start the first public hearing. Notice is hereby given that on Tuesday, September 9th, 2025 at 7:00 p.m. in the council chambers of the municipal building for the town of Tazewell, Virginia, located at 211 Central Avenue, Tazewell, Virginia. The town council will hold a public hearing pursuant to Virginia Code 58.1-3230 and the town charter section 3-8 to provide the citizens of the town an opportunity to be heard with respect to a proposal for the town to amend chapter 10, taxation of the town code and adopt a special assessment for land use preservation ordinance regarding the taxation of real estate devoted to agricultural, horticultural, forest, and open space uses within the corporate limits of the town. A copy of the proposed amendment, ordinance, or amended ordinance is available for review and inspection during normal business hours, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the town of Tazewell Municipal Building as referenced here in the club. So, anyone here to speak on the land use assessment ordinance?
Are we going to have a land use tax?
We're working on it. This is the first reading, right? I'm sorry, I'm getting spun up.
So when we talked about this before, and I brought it up, did we say there were 7 residents that would qualify for this?
It was very few.
And again, I brought it up because I just feel it's only right, because if we take direction from the county with the way the assessments, rose, we should offer this to those citizens. I mean, it's foreign land that they can't really use. So I just feel like doing the right thing, we should offer it.
I agree with you. We talked to the county commissioner's office, and the revenue impact of the town was estimated at approximately $7,000. There's not a lot of participants in it. As a council and with our IEDA, we've been working on our local incentives, and knowing that Tazewell County is predominantly, agriculture is a big piece of that. This is an example of us being, I would consider it being business friendly, in our town. Yeah, I'm with you, Danny.
What do we have to do to qualify under that?
Sir, Mr. Johnson, you don't have to do anything right now. We would have to pass it first.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And if it does pass, how much land do you have to qualify for?
I don't think there's a limit. There's not a.
There's not.
It's the use.
It's a designation for the use. So if you have it towards agriculture, you basically have the ability to reduce your tax liability for that piece of property unless the use changes.
Well, like me, I raise cows, and I've got a hay field.
Yes.
Would the hay field come under that
Yes, sir.
land use, and grazing of the cows? I've got.
My understanding of it would be yes.
I've got approximately 25 acres.
Yes, sir.
I'm paying taxes on these issues in my front yard.
Yes, sir. That's the whole point they're talking about.
Yes, sir.
When you have a designated use for agriculture, it then reduces the taxable, I guess, factor that is applied to it for the tax base for the town and the county, actually, for that.
I think Jess Perry, Danny Sparks, there's several.
There's, like I said, there's a few, there's less than 10 that we're aware of.
There's 7.
7.
Yes, sir.
Does Danny Sparks in on it?
I'm sure he is, yes.
Yes. I think he orders Jess Perry.
Yes, sir.
I don't know where, is Mac Payne in town?
We hope not.
No.
I still got
To
that.
be facetious as Mr. Willis is being right now, yes, he is in town, and Mac has property that qualifies for this particular treatment. It's possible, yes.
Yeah.
I won't say that it is, but I say that it's possible.
Fair square, good for the goose, good for the gander, is what I'd say.
And you hear about the land use, you hear about land use. And this period, yes, yeah, that's what I was talking about. He's spoken on your behalf, he's been your liaison for the night. Your agent.
Well, they promised to me when they took me in, but they never did give it to me.
Well, I think
Tried to give it to me.
they're working on that now.
Jack Chambers, he tried to get for me and never could do nothing with it.
Would you like to speak on land
I
use?
have nothing to say about it. I just let y'all do the work.
All right, well, if there's nothing else on the land use assessment ordinance, go until 7:15 for the next public hearing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start our second public hearing. This one is to discuss the town manager residency mileage extension charter amendment. The notice of public hearing pursuant to Virginia Code 15.2-202, Volume 2, 2018, or replace Volume 2018. The Council for the Town of Tazewell will hold a public hearing on September 9th, 2025 at 7:15 p.m. in the council chambers for the town located at 211 Central Avenue, Tazewell, Virginia 24651, at which time and place the citizens of the town of Tazewell should have the opportunity to comment on the town council's request for the General Assembly to amend the town's existing charter. A summary of the proposed charter amendment involves the revision of language of Section 3-91 of Article 3. Anyone here to speak? Going once?
I think I guess that first.
Yeah. This is just, we haven't gotten to the voting part of it. That's it, in the agenda. All right, if there's no public comment, we will end this public hearing. And the regular town council meeting will start at 7:30. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this month's town council meeting. If you please stand for the invocation of pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor Nathan, lead us in invocation.
Heavenly Father, Lord, thank you so much for our time to gather this evening and that we can come freely and willingly. Ask you to watch over us during the meeting, keep it peaceful and focused, and help us get back to our homes at the end of the evening. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Please be seated. So first on the agenda is our special presentation request. First item is new employee introductions for Recreation Director Kenneth Hicks, Customer Service Associate Samantha Pruitt and Cynthia Harmon, and promotion of Victoria Smith to Accounts Payable Clerk. Commander Reagan.
So this is a very nice presentation that we're able to give. So we've had a bit of a staffing change here lately, have a lot of new faces. Just wanted to take this opportunity to kind of bring them before you guys and introduce them to you, me to them. And so we're not completely fully staffed, but we're almost there, which will be very nice. So I just want to say welcome to the team, to all of you guys. And I'm going to turn it over to our Public Works Director, Chris Mitchell, and our Treasurer, Jessica Hayes, to introduce their employees.
Well, I'm excited to welcome two new additions to my team, Samantha Pruitt, if you'll stand up, You have joined us as our new customer service associate. She's bringing warmth, kindness, and a commitment to excellent service. Cindy Harmon, will you please stand up? You are stepping into the role of water clerk, and you are ready to support our operations with accuracy, care, and positivity. So welcome to the team. I'd also like to congratulate Vicki Smith, who is not here with us this evening. She has stepped into the role of accounts payable clerk. Her dedication to attention and her detail will make her perfect for that new role, so I'm very excited that she's there. I also wanted to do a special thank you to June Repass, who's not with us today. She has kind of stepped in from retirement and helped us out during this transition, and I just can't thank her enough.
I'd like to introduce Ken Hicks, speaker. We talked long and hard, back and forth, and I think we made a good pick, picking Kenneth, and I'll give him the board to share some news ideas, if I have questions for him. Lord Keith.
With the new rec director, we've made several upgrades to Lincolnshire Park, and I spoke with Mr. Willis and stuff. We'd like to start utilizing the old junior high game up here for like co-ed volleyball, a men's basketball league, maybe even start a flag football league. My wife, she's over at the Girl Scouts, so I'd like to do like a Boy Scout jamboree out there at the park, or Girl Scout jamboree, just, utilize the park, introduce kids to the park, so if they know that they'll want to come back and bring friends and family with them. So I think, with y'all's backing, I'd like to do stuff like that.
But you'll definitely have the council's backing to bring new things there. It's, it's so nice to hear new ideas being brought before us, and we really do appreciate that.
That's well.
You're welcome.
So next is updates on EMS renovations, Clinch River Pavilion and Farmers Market Project, and Route 460 Waterline Project. Concerns about this. Councilmember Fox.
The renovation on the rescue squad, how's that coming through?
So we have congressional directed spending of $354,000 for that. And the town of Tazewell is going to match with $300,000. It's making that a total of $654,000. Thompson and Litton did a preliminary architectural report. We had first considered, what would it cost to do just a new construction? And that was $4.6 million. So that's a little bit out of our price range.
Is that what Thompson Litton said?
Yes, it is.
Have you did bids on that?
We have not. The engineering's complete. But they also did a renovation. And what would that look like? And it was $866,500. So we're still short $212,500. Rural Development is the one that's in control of that money from the congressional award, and I have actually spoke with the county to see what avenues we might be able to take to make up that shortfall. And the county administrator, Eric Young, and I are going to be set to talk toward the end of this month to see if we can kind of work together and make that come together where we can do that project.
How long is that going to be?
Well, we're going to talk by the end of the month. So at the October council meeting, I could give you another update if you'd like.
Good.
We can't spend $800,000 on that building. Those are not realistic numbers.
They are, they're considering what a contingency would be too. So they do have contingency built in there. And just like this pavilion that we're going to do at the Clinch River spot, we can bid it out and get real numbers. And that, we obviously would have to do that too. But this preliminary architectural report tells us what they think it could be.
I'm sorry, I got another question on No, if that's okay, Dave. On the, forgive me if you restated this, but on the congressional funds that have been earmarked, it seems like there's been delays on that. If there's funds, fill me in on those funds. They are received, we have them?
We have not received them.
And do we know, okay, so we haven't received them. Do we know what the roadblocks are?
Yes.
Okay,
I want to know where we're coming up with the rest of this money.
okay,
That is number one roadblock.
okay,
Number two roadblock is they want environmental work done at the site.
okay.
That's number two.
And where are we at on the environmental work?
I haven't done anything because of number one.
Okay.
That number seems high.
The 866,000.
Is, one of the things we've been discussing, but, and this would be, like, clearly a project that we want to see done, we want to see their living conditions improved. This has been over a year and a half now that we've been delayed on this. Is there anything that we could do budget amendment wise to improve the living conditions up there? Any just near targets, maybe we coordinate with Ms. Lean on that. But in the interim, because we're in the shortfall and we're going to be waiting to discuss with the county, perhaps there's something we could do to make the quality of life better in the interim.
Next meeting in October, would you like for maybe Cindy to bring some of their issues and what we are hoping to address with this project? Would that be something that would be beneficial to you all?
I think it would be a good, good show. Show the flag,
Okay.
let them know that we're on their team. We know that this has been delayed. What we need to put a
Absolutely.
Band-Aid on it.
Because I do know they need.
Okay, we'll put that on there for October, and I'll ask her to come.
That's on the, Flint River Pavilion.
That was the EMS.
Now, the Flint River Pavilion, how long, it should have been already up. How long is it going to take to get up and running?
Okay. So on the Twitch River Pavilion Farmers Market, on August the 19th, we advertised an RFP for construction. We had a mandatory pre-bid meeting on August the 26th, and 3 companies have attended. You had to attend that in order to bid on the project. One company was from Tazewell, one was from Whitful, and one was from Pennsylvania. The bids are due September the 19th at 2 o'clock. And the following Monday, September 22nd, we will be reviewing those and hope to announce the bid award that week. So within the next 2 weeks, we should have who is going to be doing that construction project. Okay. Phase 1 is construction. Phase 2 is the bathroom and prep kitchen. I had this listed as an add alternate in our RFP. And what that means is that we would like for them to also bid that cost. And if the budget allows, then we would like to go ahead and award them that as well.
You said the 19th?
Yes, 19th at 2 o'clock,
Next Friday.
next Friday.
Ms. Leanne, I had a town citizen reach out and inquire, because we were talking about the concrete pad that's out there. They didn't understand why we were removing the top tier. It couldn't have been used in the build. Could you shed some light on that?
When we went out for our pre-bid meeting, the mandatory meeting that we were at, some of the questions asked were about the slab. And would the slab that's there support the weight of the new pavilion? And they looked at the slab up front, and if you're facing it this way, the right-hand front corner, I mean, you could see it was kind of falling off, and it was not able to support anything on that corner. And it looked like there was layers of concrete, kind of like a concrete lasagna, if you will. And so they took part of the backhoe bucket and just kind of seen how that structure was for that pad, and it was not what we needed to be for that, as far as your water lines, sewer lines, electrical. So we're going to remove just those step ups or step downs, and it's still going to have an 86 by 96 slab.
Okay.
And we're going to try to cover that whole remains flat.
Remove that front section to allow for replenishment parking and to eliminate trip hazards of different elevations. Sure.
Am I allowed to speak? Sure.
That has been part of the plan from the beginning with our dialogue and design conceptual drawings. You walk out to the site, you step up, you step down. It was agreed, like this was something that we all knew was gonna have to be done in order to construct in the first place.
Next.
The
The dust.
460 water project. I know it's been a rough time for the employees, what they're doing out there and working at the business places out there and in the residential area. The dust is flying everywhere. I know they did a little work today on a little bit of pavement. How soon will that be completed and paving?
Okay. So the first thing I would like to say is our staff has been absolutely great. They have done a fantastic job, and I want them to know that. So the next steps, in order for us to get to paving, we have to do a pressure test on the lines to make sure that they hold. That is scheduled for this Thursday at 8 o'clock. Our health department testing that is required. We have already took one test, and the next test is scheduled for tomorrow. We should have results back by early next week. If we pass the pressure testing, if we pass their testing for the health department, we can start hooking up those individual customers and we can start paving. So there's about, they think that they can do about four hookups a day. And there's about 25 hookups between Peary Street and the Fincastle Red Light. So we're almost there. Almost.
Mayor, what's the chances of a speed reduction? I know that was brought up many times, but what's the steps? Because I mean, that would, eliminate a lot of the dust, but people would slow down.
And the dust.
Common sense, but.
We did try and put millings. So if you're going to pave a road and you take up the asphalt that's there, they do what's called milling. And it's little chunks of asphalt instead of gravel. So we thought, okay, that will reduce the amount of dust. So we put some of that in last week. Chris, what did we decide with the construction zone speed limit? I know that we had looked up some signs and
I think we should, best I can find, we should be able to reduce it. I just haven't.
It's in the code.
I should have all the signs, I just haven't got all the signs together to put them up yet.
You would think people would drive, reasonable speeds.
so one thing that I can tell, Chris and I have learned a lot through this little section. So moving forward through this progress, we've got some action items that we're going to try to address before we get back in this shape. Such as like we were talking the wet tap that took us a little bit and we kind of were out of air control. We can go ahead and order those and get those scheduled and put in, and then we can lay the pipe to it. That way we don't have the road tore up. That way it's a much faster process on our end. So we have learned to kind of control that narrative and control what we can and can't do.
How many more wet taps are there?
Are there 2 more? Okay. So, does that help answer your questions?
So are we going to implement a speed reduction?
Yeah, we can, yes.
I can get y'all.
That's what we need, the speed
I think it would at least help.
to lower it down, because someone's blind.
Is it enforceable if we just throw a sign up there?
A work zone speed?
Yeah, we can afford it. If it's posted.
Yeah, works on it.
It's a quarter mile probably, it's not like.
So you would reduce it on both directions or just the one?
I think in order for them to enforce it, it have to be both.
It's got to be both.
need a motion on that?
I don't think
To do
so.
so?
But the dust, it's got to control that dust, like it's still open. Because it takes about an hour to come right back up.
All right.
Do you think, you know, your Facebook post, that was, you know, for public awareness, that was good? Of course, with any time you have comments, you know, you're gonna have mixed results.
Right.
But I think that was a good muscle movement, adding the speed reduction. You know, that should get us through this. We're not too far off from the date.
And going forward throughout the progress, I'm going to try to update more, maybe every couple weeks, just try to post something to give an update. That way, at least citizens do know what's going on, and at least they have the knowledge.
That's all I need to know right now. But something got to control the dust while it's coming.
Okay.
It's eating up.
Oh, one more thing. It's not on those updates, but I do have one that's a very good update. Clatterbuck Pavement will be here in town also on Thursday, striping the streets. So,
Okay, so moving right along. Next, local business recognition, Bohemian Gray.
I don't think she was able to make it.
Next is the approval of the minutes for council meeting on August 12th, 2025. Will entertain a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Second.
And a second, any discussion? All in favor of approval of the council minutes for the meeting on October 12th, 2025, stay so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right, motion carries. Next, the approval of financial statements and the financial report for August 2025.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. A second, any discussion? All in favor of approval of the financial statements and financial report for August 2025, stay so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay so by saying nay. Motion carries. Next, the committee conference updates. Planning Commission Committee, Zoning, Building, and Property Management Official. Mr. Hurley.
Every 5 years, we got to redo the comprehensive plan. So we started on that last night. We actually was in a hurry-up mode and thought it was due this August, but I found another updated one where we updated for the 4061 project for the sidewalk. So that pushes it all the way to next September. So we're getting a good head start on updating that. That's the whole meeting.
So it's due next year.
Yeah. Every 5 years. So we're that month. Head start on
Are there going to be follow-up meetings with it? When do we see that product from?
We got through 50-some pages, there's 130-some. So probably next 2 or 3 meetings we'll be doing that, and then we'll bring it to council.
Planning Commission has to go through and make recommendations, and then submit that to council, and the council has to vote on to the approval of the actual plan for the next 5 years. That'll happen at least, obviously, before next August.
So in that bill, when do we get so we review it, we vote on it, do we send any adjustments, recommendations, do we send those back down, do we collaborate on that while we're building this product? What's the best way that we can work on this comprehensively?
So, it's very punny. I took notes from our work session that we did about the comprehensive plan to the Planning Commission last night. And I told them our major focuses and the projects that we wanted to add. They were all in agreement that those needed to be in there. So I think, we could even have a joint meeting, a work session one night, once it gets to the point of where we're ready to kind of roll it out. And would that be something you all would want to do?
Yes, I think that would be appropriate.
It'd be good to go through the whole book.
Yeah.
Planning Commission side, and then if y'all want to change anything, we'll go back through it again, do the changes, do it final, which might take 4 or 5 months to do.
Some of our group attend too.
Absolutely. Cool.
You can.
Okay. So work sessions to be determined.
Okay, no other questions. Next is the IEDA chairperson, Kara Spivey, will give us an update.
I'm going to follow Chris's lead, and I'm going to give my update from here because I have a presentation to give you guys in a little while. So I haven't been here in a couple of meetings. I've missed you guys over the summer. Our team's still been hard at work, moving our projects forward. We're excited, Mr. Fox is really excited about our Clinch River Pavilion. Our farmers market, we've been meeting with them throughout the process while we've been waiting on advertising for bids. Additionally, in the last couple of months, we've been trying to listen to people who are smarter than us and have more experience with some economic development opportunities for our Riverside Drive property across the street, 1616 Riverside Drive. So last night we were actually able to vote on what we would like to explore that property to be. I'm going to give, you guys have copies of my slides in your packet, and I'm going to review in a minute when we get to that part. And then I think throughout the rest of this month, some ongoing work that we're doing. At our August meeting, we had some community members come and speak about how we should have increased engagements with other IDAs. So one of our members is actually going to start attending the county IDA meetings. And additionally, regarding our Riverside Drive property, actually with the Economic Development Office up there is going to help schedule some walkthroughs with some of the county stakeholders that might be interested in the direction that we're going. So.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question.
Cool, bud.
Go figure.
What's up?
Go figure. In regards to the meeting that we had at the train station with the local business owners and the facade improvement, is the IEDA going to collaborate with Ms. Leanne to engage with the local business owners? Because the submission on that is March, correct?
Yeah, and Susan has been spearheading that work. And I have been collaborating with Susan and Leanne in kind of we haven't discussed it at an official meeting, but I think if Susan needs help getting further in touch with some of the business owners, I think that we have team members who would be interested in helping with that. One business owner has already been in touch with another IEDA member after that meeting, so I think the big takeaway is the community's excited about what we're planning and trying to do in North Tazewell, and you're right. I think the next couple of months with working with Susan and Leanne is going to be key so that we have the strongest application possible in the spring.
And one of the items, so we had the local business owners there, and Hill Studio presented, and Ms. Jordan Dillon was there from Cumberland Plateau, planning district, correct? And this is a great news story for Tazewell because the private business match requirement in this has been lifted for this site. That's what was reported in this meeting by the representative for the Cumberland Plateau Planning District. So this is just straight grant dollars coming into North Tazewell to improve the facades in that area. And I think that's something that everybody should be happy about. So pretty excited for the progress on that.
Jordan is one of the people who's smarter than we are. That I referenced, she's been a real leader for us, a real advocate, and has honestly been holding the hand and kind of charting the path of what we could do. So like I said, I don't want to spoil it, but I've got a nice little presentation we'll walk through in a little bit.
And one thing I would like to add, Susan wasn't feeling well, so she's not with us this evening, but she had actually thought about enlisting the help of Historical Review Board into this process. So that was something that was going to be coming to them to possibly help and assist with this project.
Nice.
So we're going to move right along to our unfinished business. First on the agenda is the Billy Wagner Park support request and resolution of support. And we've got the Billy Wagner Park Committee.
Yes, thank you all again for having us back. As we promised, we would back frequently to be able to make presentations as you would require of us to let you know how things were progressing. Of course, I'm back before the council tonight on behalf of the committee. Tonight I have with me Larry Blankenship and Jack Pye, who are on the committee with me, as well as, of course, our IDA Chair Karen Spivey, all very integral parts of our committee. I'm very lucky to be working with them on this project to make it happen. Our committee is back before you tonight asking for a resolution of support that we talked about last month, asking for 10% of the project's cost that we have estimated to be in place for the project, $25,000, asking, directing from us that the amount of the contribution would be specifically designated for renovation and rehabilitation of the park itself in terms of the raising of what is existing there now to go back to ground level to start from scratch. Masonry, brick, mortar, precast concrete, lighting and plumbing upgrades, and then, of course, installation of the actual statue itself. But all other funding would be raised by our committee beyond the part that we're asking for the town to contribute for that 10%. The resolution of support, I think you may have before you in your packet that we were asking that you adopt tonight would be a big shot in the arm to show the support and the partnership with the committee to make this happen, along with the county. We've also asked for the same level of support. And thankfully enough tonight in making a presentation for them earlier, the county is also on board. I'd like to let you know that they have agreed to $12,500 definitively at this point in time from their discretionary funds, and have asked us to come back in January and make the same type of request to receive the balance of the $25,000 that they have pledged to the project. So we think it is very worthwhile. Of course, you've heard me speak at length about this project and how I feel about it personally, how the committee feels about it, how enthusiastic we receive support from the general public, and we hope that you will support the resolution we put before you tonight to make it happen for the town's part of the project. Any questions? Again, you see I have props tonight too as well. We have what we call a mini Billy, which is an exact replica. Billy feels like he's a whole lot taller than this. Although he's not a big guy, Billy is going to be represented there with full size at the park, full 5'9", however big Billy is now, will be what the statue will be when it is basically put in place in October next year. And the renovations to the park, I know Councilor Morris may not be able to see this completely, but this is what we envision for the actual renovation of the park itself. The courtyard, the actual landscaping around the park, lighting around the park, a relocation of the flagpole to be in a more prominent space in the front of the park, as well as the prominent location of the statue in the right front will be the northeastern corner of where Marion and Main meet. We feel like, again, for the project itself, what we plan on doing and what we've noted the money we've used toward in terms of making this an iconic destination, something that's permanent, that has not had the staying power that the park hasn't received in years past. It's been a great meeting place, but we've had the prior location of the Tazewell High School replica, which is no longer there. One mural that was there, a lot of work, a lot of money into that. It fell away, did not last. Another mural is gone. Flagpoles have moved around a lot. We've had the kiosk for the phone booth is no longer there. The fountain is no longer there. We are hopeful, and I know with the enthusiasm that the group has behind us to make the renovations of the park a lasting, permanent renovation that's not only the town but the county, folks throughout Southwest Virginia will be proud to come and see in honor of someone who's earned that right to be honored and someone that we think is going to be properly represented here in our town. Any questions?
Everybody looks at you.
I'll make a motion to support the resolution.
Okay, so since you made the motion, put your lawyer hat on, he has to read it, right?
You got that.
I think it would work that either one of you can read it.
It's worth a try.
It would be nice for
I didn't read it.
Councilman Klein to read it, though. I think that would be nice.
It's just,
Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll second it.
It's motion second. Okay.
the property,
Yes, sir.
property itself that you're putting Billy Wagner on,
Yes.
and I think it should, get enough to the town, in reference to $25,000, because it's, you're on that property now. And I know that you need, more, you're looking for a good $25,000, but that's just my opinion,
Yes, sir. And I appreciate it. We all do.
I love to see Lou Perry and Billy Wagner with a picture of Lou Perry on the wall or something, so people can see Billy Wagner and Lou Perry on the wall. I know it's down there, still in the courthouse, but I think it would look good when they're both together.
One of the aspects of this project is really into two phases. And that would be the actual building that is adjacent to the park, which is now owned by John and Sharon Thomas, where the murals, the two murals that we've had in the past that have been there, and of course have gone away. Our plan, at least, is to promote the implementation and commissioning of an artist to do another mural there. And that one that could incorporate, very much could incorporate Lou Perry and Billy Wagner and other aspects of Billy's career from Little League all the way through his professional career. That's definitely a possibility. We don't control that because the town no longer owns the built the wall to be able to do that. But in talking with John and Sharon Thomas, they are definitely very optimistic and at this point in time in favor of that project, coming to pass within the next 1 to 2 years. Still remains to be seen. We've got to get this one done first, but that is a strong possibility. And I think it's a good one for you to suggest that it's one that the committee is encouraged by that.
Because he brought that up when he was getting his trophy, whatever.
Oh, certainly.
That's the first person he talked about is Lou Perry.
Lou Perry, Tazewell Bulldogs, and he's proudly wearing the pin that supports that insignia right behind you. And one of the things I've also mentioned, gentlemen, with the county's partner with the town of the IDA, our plan is to have on the park floor that will be a replica of the town seal as well as a replica of the county seal. Roughly 5 by 5, about the size of the one the mayor has behind him, on the floor of the park. Show the partnership between the county and the town in support of this, and their gratitude toward what Billy's accomplished, and also to reflect, again, the support that they have with the IDA to make it happen.
Okay, so we do have a motion, but we're going to do a roll call vote after I read the resolution. So Councilmember Klein introduced the following resolution, which was read for the first time on September 9th, 2025. Whereas William Edward Billy Wagner, Southwestern Virginia native, born in Marion, Virginia, raised in Smith and Tazewell counties, and a Tazewell High School graduate, class of 1990. And whereas despite breaking his dominant right arm twice before the age of 10, Billy learned to throw left-handed and became a standout Tazewell athlete on the baseball field during his Bulldog career, earning all-state honors under the guidance of Coach Lou Perry. And whereas despite his high school achievements, Billy's 5'5", 130-pound stature did not attract any Division I colleges to recruit him, but in the furtherance of both his baseball and football athletic aspirations, Billy was able to attend Division III Ferrum College. And whereas Billy thrived on the pitcher's mound at Ferrum to the extent that his coaches directed him solely to play in baseball, where he went on to set NCAA single-season records for strikeouts per 9 innings and fewest hits allowed per 9 innings, finally garnering the attention of several Major League Baseball scouts. And whereas Billy was drafted by the Houston Astros in the first round of the 1993 MLB draft and went on to play in the major leagues for 16 years with the Astros, Mets, Phillies, Red Sox, and Braves, during which tenure he accomplished the following: 422 saves, 8th highest of all time, a career 2.31 ERA, earned run average, lowest among retired southpaws, a whip average of .998, walks hits per innings pitched, lowest among all retired relief pitchers, highest ever MLB strikeout ratio per 9 innings, 11.9, and a 7-time MLB All-Star selection. And whereas Billy was elected to the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame in 2012, it was inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York on July 27, 2025. As a member of the MLB Hall of Fame class of 2025, only the 6th Virginian to be enshrined in Cooperstown, and the first ever Division III player in Southwest Virginia to achieve the honor. And whereas in honor of Billy's extraordinary achievements and in a demonstration of heartfelt civic pride to recognize Billy's phenomenal accomplishments, the Industrial Economic Development Authority of the town of Tazewell, along with several members of the Tazewell community, identified as the Billy Wagner Park Project Committee, have embarked upon the project to renovate and dedicate the mini park located at the corner of Main Street and Marion Avenue to be designated as Billy Wagner Park, inclusive of a life-size bronze statue of Billy to be installed and dedicated in Billy's honor in the fall of 2026. And whereas efforts are underway with the Billy Wagner Park Project Committee within the Tazewell community, southwestern Virginia and beyond to raise the funds necessary for the commissioning of the statue and the construction of the renovations for the park. And whereas approximately $80,000 of the budget for the project directly involves renovations to the current mini park, inclusive of site preparation for a brick walled courtyard, electrical and plumbing improvements, and landscaping to develop the park into an aesthetically pleasing focal point for Main Street activities and Town of Tazewell events year-round. And whereas the Council for the Town of Tazewell has determined that this project is a worthwhile endeavor to honor the outstanding achievements of a native son while contributing to the improvements to an IEDA asset within the town. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Town of Tazewell, Virginia, that the Council hereby fully supports the enthusiastic efforts of the Town IDA and Billy Wagner Park Project Committee in their desire and dedicated willingness to see the Billy Wagner Park come to fruition. And be it further resolved by the Council of the Town of Tazewell that in its support of the project, the Council hereby agrees to designate the sum of $25,000 to the Town of Tazewell IEDA to be applied towards the Billy Wagner Park Project renovation, specifically directing that the IEDA utilize said $25,000 towards the construction of the park's brick courtyard, the necessary plumbing and electrical infrastructure and installation, and the landscaping required for the park's planned renovations. This resolution was seconded by Council Member Beasley, and now a vote being called on the resolution. The council votes as follows. Beasley.
Aye.
Klein.
Aye.
Fox.
The 25,000 is what's that mean?
Okay, so it's a yea or nay. We're voting.
Aye.
We've already went through discussion. So it's a yea or nay.
Nay, I think it's 25,000.
Hankins.
Yes.
Willis.
I have one question. So this 25,000 is going to go toward construction?
From my understanding of the resolution, it's going to be for the construction of the
Courtyard,
Chairman.
electrical.
Brick, masonry.
Landscape.
Yes, landscaping, electrical and plumbing infrastructure, yes.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution carries. Thank you. This is that home event. So next in unfinished business is the second reading and approval of plating ordinance amendment.
Got your ones warmed up on that. Got your ones warmed up on
I
that.
know someone's 3 minutes.
Motion to waive the second reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, so all in favor of waiving the second reading, stay so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay so by saying nay. All right, so Brad, you need to vote to approve the ordinance?
Motion, motion to approve the ordinance as written.
Second.
Got any discussion? All in favor of approving the motion as written, stay so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, stay so by saying nay. Do you need a motion to start right away, or does it automatically?
Takes 30 days.
30 days?
As drafted, yes.
Just seeing if we need it.
Do you have questions?
Go ahead.
No, you clarified. I think. Well, just looking at the end, it had a roll call vote. I was just asking him if we needed to do a roll call vote on this.
You had, with regard to, if by unanimous in terms of there wasn't any type of dissent or objections to it, yes, but from what I saw, everyone voted aye, so it can be reflected in the minutes of all five approved. That'll work. That will.
So moving on to new business, the first reading of the land use assessment ordinance amendment.
We have any do that.
Okay.
Like, buckle up.
He read the
This one's not as bad as last month. This one, I promise, it's not short. Proposed ordinance, Chapter 10, Taxation, Article 8, Special Assessment for Land Preservation. Be it ordained by the Council of the Town of Tazewell, Virginia, pursuant to Virginia Code Section 58.1, 3230, et sec., and Charter Section 3-8, that it hereby enacts the following ordinance regarding the taxation of real estate devoted to agricultural, horticultural, forest, and open space uses within the corporate limits of the town. Article 8, Special Assessment for Land Use Preservation. Section 10-121, applicability. The town finds that the preservation of real estate devoted to agricultural, horticultural, forest, and open space uses within its boundaries is in the public interest and has adopted a land use plan. Such real estate shall be taxed in accordance with the provisions of the Code of Virginia, Titles 58.1, Chapter 32, Article 4, Section 58.1-3230 and following sections, and of this article. Section 10-122, application for special assessment. The owner of any real estate meeting the criteria set forth in Code of Virginia Sections 58.1-3230 and 58.1-3233 subsection 2 may, within the time specified by the Code of Virginia Section 58.1-3234, subject to the exceptions set forth in Part C, apply to the Commissioner of Revenue and the Town Clerk for the classification, assessment, and taxation of such property for the next succeeding tax year on the basis of its use under the procedure set forth in the Code of Virginia Section 15.1-3236. Such application shall be on forms provided by the town and shall be supplied by the Commissioner of Revenue and the Town Clerk, and shall include such additional schedules, photographs, and drawings as may be required by the Commissioner of the Revenue and the Town Clerk. An individual who is the owner of an undivided interest in a parcel may apply on behalf of himself and the other owners of such parcel upon submitting an affidavit that such owners are minors or cannot be located. An application shall be submitted whenever the use or acreage of such land previously approved changes. However, no application fee may be required when a change in acreage occurs solely as a result of a conveyance necessitated by governmental action or condemnation of a portion of any land previously approved for taxation on the basis of use assessment. Further, the Commissioner of Revenue and the Town Clerk shall review all applications previously approved by him or her. An application fee of $10 plus 50 cents per tract shown on individual lines of the tax book shall accompany each application. And from the questions you had in the public hearing, those are the language changes that will basically designate both the Commissioner and now the Town Clerk to make those land use changes happen. A separate application shall be filed for each parcel on the land book. C, an application may be filed after the specified annual filing deadline of November 1, but not later than December 5, upon payment of the application fee set forth, and a late filing fee of no more than $100 per parcel sought to be classified, assessed, and taxed under this chapter. Said late filing fee shall be set by resolution of the Town Council. Section 10-23, determination of eligibility. Subsection A, promptly upon receipt of any application under this article, the Commissioner of Revenue and the Town Clerk shall determine whether the subject property meets the criteria for taxation under this article. If the Commissioner of Revenue and the Town Clerk determine that the subject property does meet such criteria, he shall determine the value of such property for its qualifying use as well as its fair market value. Subsection B, in determining whether the subject property meets the criteria set forth in Code of Virginia Section 58.1-3230, the Commissioner of the Revenue and the Town Clerk may request an opinion from the Director of the State Department of Conservation and Recreation, the State Forester, or the State Commissioner of Agriculture and Consumer Services. Upon the refusal of any such person to issue an opinion, or in the event of an unfavorable opinion which does not comport with the standards set forth by him, the party aggrieved may seek relief from any court of record where the real estate in question is located. If the court finds in his favor, it may issue an order which shall serve in lieu of an opinion for the purposes of this article. Section 10-124, filing of applications and indexing of qualifying properties. The Commissioner of the Revenue and the Town Clerk shall prepare a list of all applications filed and approved under this article and shall transmit such list and the original copy of such application to the clerk of the circuit court of the county. Clerk shall index the names in a book entitled Land Use Tax Assessment Book and file the application in his office. The council shall compensate the clerk at a rate of $1 for filing and indexing each application or revalidation for which a fee is payable, notwithstanding any limitation provided in Code of Virginia Section 14.1-143.2 or any other section of the Code of Virginia. Section 10-125, computation of tax. The use value and fair market value of any qualifying property under this article shall be placed on the land book before delivery to the town treasurer, and the tax for the next succeeding year shall be extended from the use value. Section 10-126, rollback tax imposed. There is hereby imposed a rollback tax and interest thereon in such amounts as may be determined under Virginia Code Section 58.1-3237 upon any property as to which the use changes to a non-qualifying use under this article. Section 10-127, the same report of change in status and payment. The owner of any real estate tax rezoned as provided in Code of Virginia Section 58.1-3237, subsection D, or liable for rollback taxes under this article, shall, within 60 days following such change in use or zoning, report such change to the Commissioner of Revenue or other assessing officer and the town clerk on such forms as may be prescribed. The Commissioner and the town clerk shall forthwith determine and assess the rollback tax, which shall be assessed against and paid by the owner of the property at the time the change in use which no longer qualifies occurs, and shall be paid to the town treasurer within 30 days of the assessment. On failure to report within 60 days following such change in use or failure to pay within 30 days of assessment, such owner shall be liable for an additional penalty equal to 10% of the amount of the rollback tax and interest, which penalty shall be collected as a part of the tax. In addition to such penalty, there is hereby imposed interest of 2/3% of the amount of the rollback tax, interest and penalty for each month or fraction thereof, during which the failure continues. Section 10-128, making false application. Any person making a material misstatement of fact in any application filed pursuant to this article shall be liable for all taxes in such amounts and at such times as if the property had been assessed on the basis of fair market value as applied to other real estate in the taxing jurisdiction, together with interest and penalties thereon. If such material misstatement was made with the intent to defraud the town, he shall further be assessed with an additional penalty of 100% of such unpaid taxes. Section 10-129, applicability of state law. The provisions of the Code of Virginia Title 58.1 applicable to local levies and real estate assessment and taxation shall be applicable to assessments and taxation under this article, mutatis mutandis, including without limitation provisions relating to tax liens, boards of equalization, and correction of erroneous assessments, and for such purposes the rollback taxes shall be considered to be deferred real estate taxes. First reading completed. Thank you very much. Read again.
So next on the agenda is the first reading of the charter amendment for town manager residency mileage extension.
I'm going to breath and out saliva, so this is on the mayor.
So,
we need a motion to
yes.
start this. So moved.
Okay, so Councilmember Beasley gave the motion.
I'll second.
So, Brad, to follow protocol, since the way this is worded, should Councilmember Beasley read that top half?
No.
And then I'll start at section 3.9.
That'd be fine.
I hereby move that the town of Tazewell amend its charter of 1958 to reflect a request of the council to revise the residency parameters for the appointee of town manager during his or her tenure in that appointment, and further request that the following suggested charter amendment set forth here and below be submitted to the General Assembly for consideration at its upcoming legislative session in January 2026. Specifically, I hereby request the following amendment, italicized and strike through to Article 3, the council at subsection 3-91 of section 3-9 appointees. Do you want me to It's all part of the motion, so I'll continue to read it if you want me to.
Fine, so go for it.
Section 3-9, appointees. At the first meeting in January following the councilmanic, that's an interesting word, election, or as soon thereafter as practicable, the council shall appoint 3-91, revised lines 2-7 of this subsection to read, a town manager who shall be the administrative and executive head of the municipal government. He or she shall be chosen by the council without regard to political beliefs and solely upon the basis of his or her executive and administrative qualifications. At the time of his or her appointment, he or she need not be a resident of the town or the Commonwealth, but during his or her tenure of office, and this is strike through to put this new language in, is encouraged to reside within the town limits and may reside within a reasonable distance outside of the town limits upon a majority approval of the appointing council. He or she shall receive such compensation as shall be provided by the council by ordinance or resolution. He or she may be bonded as the council may deem necessary. Revised lines 9 through 11 of this subsection to read, no councilman shall receive such appointment during the term for which he or she shall have been elected, nor within 1 year after the expiration of his or her term. We also want to revise lines 11 through 13 of this subsection to read, neither the council nor any of the members should direct or request the appointment as hereinafter provided of any person to office by the town manager or any of his or her subordinates. I also want to revise lines 16 and 17 of this subsection to read that the town manager shall have the authority and it shall be his or her duty. All other text within this section and within this article shall remain unchanged.
So it says that, since this is first reading, Brad, do we still,
This is actually the only reading, since this is not an ordinance or an ordinance amendment, it is a charter change. And under the code sections dealing with charter changes, it only requires one reading. There'll be a vote tonight, approval tonight, and then we'll go then on to Richmond from here.
okay, so I need this seconded by a council member, and then we'll do a roll call vote.
I'll second it.
Is that so we're doing a roll call vote. Councilmember Beasley.
Aye.
Councilmember Klein.
Aye.
Councilmember Fox.
Aye.
Councilmember Hankins.
Aye.
Councilmember Willis.
Aye.
Okay, so I've noticed there's more verbiage at the bottom, which seems to require another motion from a
And that was from last week, last month.
So we don't have to do that.
Yes, it'll have to be dated, of course, effective September 9, 2025.
Okay, perfect. So moving right along, next is the YMCA council member representative.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Vice Mayor Beasley to that position.
I have a motion to move Vice Mayor Beasley to the position.
I'll second.
We got a second, so any discussion? All in favor of Vice Mayor Beasley being the town's YMCA council member representative, state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, state so by saying nay. Okay. Next, items for auction, Manager Reagan.
Each year, there's usually 2 auctions held. There was one in the spring that we sent a couple pieces of equipment to, and there will be an auction in October. And in your packet, you have a few pieces of equipment that we would like approval to send to auction. The first item is an orange dump truck. The bed of this truck is, I don't want to say it's beyond repair, but it would cost as much to fix it as the truck's worth. Item number 2 is one of our service trucks. Item number 3 is a mower from the recreation department. Item number 4 is a tractor from the recreation department. And that is all the equipment that we have at the current time to send, if you all approve.
So I just need a motion to approve the items for auction.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A second, any discussion?
On this equipment, especially for like the big service vehicles, I'm sure you have turnover in your fleet. We discussed that with the police fleet recently. But are those replaced, or are you gonna have a shortfall because of that truck? I mean, I know we bought one here recently, but does
Chris,
that?
do you wanna discuss our dump truck situation?
We replaced that one dump truck already, yes.
Okay.
The service truck, it was originally our carpet truck, and then it's moved to our mechanic truck, and then it's, I think, got 110,000 miles, second or third transmission, so the beds are installed, so it got parked, and our service truck is one we obtained from Dawson Paving, when we obtained the paving machine, so.
All right. Thanks.
What's wrong with the John Deere tractor?
It's the one that we have flip on the dam. It kicks out of four drive, rambling, and it kicked out of four drive and it started just racing off the dam and trying to turn to go out on the flat, and it flipped. In the past, you could hold your foot on the pedal and make it stay in four drive. Now it's got to where you can't even. So the age of the machine and the deck is broken, cracked also. Time you probably send it off and get the transmission pulled apart and rebuilt, or I don't know what is causing the kick out.
But we did earlier in the spring have an employee that got hurt because of this tractor.
We don't need anything for liability.
All right, any more questions?
Did we plan for replacement for it already?
It has already been replaced.
We are.
Last budget.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, we just got one.
Okay, if no other questions, all in favor of approval for the items for auction, state so by saying aye. All opposed, state so by saying nay. All right. So next, the Cumberland Plateau Regional Opportunity CPROP Grant Application Resolution of Support. IEDA Chairperson's planning.
Hello, again.
We get to see the presentation.
Here it is. I'm sure you're all very excited. If you haven't already looked at it, please, come on.
Okay.
If you're not already excited, based on what you saw in your packet, I'm here to talk with you about the IEDA property of 1616 Riverside Drive, which has been a public works location until the end of this year. So you'll see on my first image, the red marker is the building. Across the street is going to be our Clinch River Pavilion. This is a good view of the slab that the Public Works team has been removing that little steps. The rest of the square in play for the pavilion itself. Okay, so our IDA, the IDA you all have appointed, is quite passionate about making sure that our properties that we are in control of become something. Okay, so what we are hoping to do is continue to capitalize on the momentum that we have in this block of town. So our Clinch River Pavilion really makes North Tazewell a potential site for workforce development as well as entrepreneurship. 1616 Riverside Drive is a very large property. We want to strategically serve multiple types of entrepreneurs for longevity and adaptability. And so with that, your IDA, town IDA, would like to partner with Tazewell County, the Cumberland Plateau Planning District, Southwest Virginia Community College, to redevelop the Riverside Drive property into what's called a fabrication laboratory. We're going to spend a couple of minutes together learning about what a fabrication laboratory is. We would want the ground level focused on agriculture and food science. It's obvious that the town supports agriculture because of the amendment that we're just processed this evening. And so the bottom level could become a cannery and commercial kitchen, and then the upstairs space become additional technology labs. So one of the things that was mentioned at the top of the meeting is the ongoing CBDG planning grant in the North Tazewell region. That is for facades or the outside improvements, so the privately owned as well as this building. Our building, because it's owned by the IDA, is poised to be able to pursue additional funds in order to actually redevelop the whole building. And so we want to capitalize on the timing of that CBDG planning grant as well as the ongoing momentum from our pavilion being constructed to move forward with setting a plan for the building itself. So what is a fabrication laboratory? Here's a nice definition. It's a resource of maker equipment. So this could be traditional construction tools like saws. It could be 3D printers designed to foster innovation and invention among its users. So this could be people that are hobbyists or crafters, or teachers and students to earnest entrepreneurs and small business owners. So I have a video that we're going to show. One of the quotes throughout my interneting about what a fabrication laboratory is really stuck out to me. So we can't hope that someone else is going to come in and save our towns. Our citizens have to do that themselves, but they deserve the support to make that process happen. So this is someone who is over a type of a fabrication laboratory in a location in Kansas. So one thing I wanted to mention too about about a fabrication laboratory is that we at this state don't know what equipment we want it to encompass. That's part of the exploration we would like to begin. So here's a nice little video.
So Albuquerque is a really entrepreneurial place. We have a lot of small businesses here, a lot of really small businesses, and we are really here to support entrepreneurs. You know, you want to start a woodworking business, but you can't afford a full wood shop, or you can't afford a CNC mill or something like that to get started. And so here you can get a membership, you can take classes, you can learn to use them, you can use those machines, and you can get your business off the ground or run your business out of here. My name is Jeff DeBellis. I'm the interim program director over all of the non-credit trades programs at Central New Mexico Community College, and this place, Fuse Makerspace, is kind of the heart of all of those programs. And I think the cool thing is we have such a big breadth. Like, we have something like 90 pieces of equipment here, right? So we have a metal shop, wood shop, 3D printers. We've got a full design suite. We've got several different lasers, screen printing, vinyl printing. All over town you see stuff that was made here, and a lot of it you don't realize it, but this place, I think, really produces a lot of cool things for the community, like physical things, but also really creative people.
Right, and you can see if you stand right here, you can see that the blade is right next to the pencil line. Not on it, because if you're on it, then you're just going to split the middle. You got to pick the side whenever you draw a line like that. Okay, hold on safety, press the trigger.
We're just a place to explore. I think that there's a barrier for a lot of these tools. You might have a hard time learning to use a table saw, for example, if you don't have a friend or a family member, like a background with equipment like that. And so we run all these basic operations and safety classes, we call them. We run them every night of the week, and we just teach people the basics of how to run all these machines safely, whether you want to run them here or whether you want to run them on their own. So we're really just about like breaking down barriers and providing access to all sorts of equipment to make things.
Right now, this arm is locked, which means it won't move. So I'm going to touch it. To undo that, you hit X play off, which is the that lock. And then you have to confirm it. Where you need to go, print, put it up, yes.
I think what we have been seeing for a long time is a decline in trades and art programs in schools. I think that's something that goes back to the 60s and 70s, and so I think for a lot of us, maybe we did some art classes or like woodshop classes in elementary school, middle school, and then that like part of our brain, we let it fall by the wayside, right? We were focused on other forms of education, we were focused on 4-year degrees, and there's obviously nothing wrong with that. Like, Like I went to school for a long time and got a bachelor's and a master's, but I think sometimes we do that at the peril of not nurturing that other part of ourselves, right? Like there's this great quote from Robert Persig in his Memoir of Motorcycle Maintenance that if you want to improve the world, you start with your own head and heart and hands. And I think we've neglected the hands part of that for so long. And so when you're working with your hands, it engages your brain in a different way, and I think it really aids learning.
Just move straight across about an inch or two, and just run a little line. Now you can see this little line that I just did. So people will do point and walk it back, point and walk it back. Your strongest row will be the straight lines.
It really gives the opportunity to learn, and some people will take workshops here and maybe they'll never do anything with it. Maybe it's just like a one-off. They wanted that like experience to practice, and then other people it might spark and nurture something and like give them a confidence that they never knew they had. I think, you know, even though I've only been a fuse for a little while, I've been working in experiential education for a long time, and I think the cool thing that you see with people is maybe they didn't do so well in like a classroom, but you get them into a physical environment where they're doing things either like outside of the woods or here in a shop, and it just ignites something in them and gives them this like, confidence, this like spirit, and like ignites this passion for learning. And a lot of times that can turn into like a very specific thing, like they might take what they learn here and start a business or get a job with it, or it just might be like kind of a side part of their life, their personality that is kind of like an outlet or release for them, and both of those are great.
So, fabrication laboratory or fab lab is not something that Harris Spivey has made up. It is in fact something that other areas use. In the packet, there's links. I can send you my PowerPoint if it's easier to click around. But these are successful in rural locations. There's one as close as Roanoke. So, as I mentioned from my brief update before, we've been spending the last couple of months trying to listen to other people who have projects going on or have been part of economic development or grant funding opportunities. And so we think this can work. The we here is, we've met with Tim Danielson at the county. Jordan Dillon has been an integral piece of helping us visualize what this can be. So first off, the proximity to Tazewell County Career and Technical Center, it's my understanding that it serves some students from Bland as well. I think in the planning piece of this work, we talk with the stakeholders at the Career and Technical Center. We continue to talk with Southwest about what they need, what types of classes they're already offering. We engage with the community about what type of resources they might like to see in the Fab Lab. There is obvious interest from Tazewell County about having a cannery. The cannery portion is an idea from Ashley and Tim's ongoing research. They've done site visits. We have copies of their research available if you'd like that. Jordan Dillon has spoken with Southwest Virginia Community College. We envision that the cannery and commercial kitchen aspect would tie into their culinary arts programs. A commercial kitchen is something that could be very helpful for our food producers. If you wanted to sell the produce that you make, and we have a USDA grade cannery and commercial kitchen, that's something that you can sell. You're interested in having a catering business, you could rent out the commercial kitchen and have it to be able to prepare your food and take it to whatever event you're doing. Again, there's resources at the back with both components, a commercial kitchen, cannery. I think it's really important as folks in the government to equip our citizens to have agency to change their economic situation through education and access to technology. We think that this could be a way to retain the workforce, train the workforce, and demonstrate to potential industries who might be looking at us that we take that type of training seriously. I think having an additional third space available can have a positive impact on mental health. But something that really sticks out to me in terms of Tazewell, just since I've moved back, is how we already have a culture of makers. So for example, my mom participates in what's called the Plum Creek Quilters. The Plum Creek Quilters share and rent a space in the Thompson Valley Community Center. They share a quilting machine. They get together, they sew. That's a large piece of equipment that's quite expensive and inaccessible for individuals, but because they are a group with a common interest, this is something that they've come together. And again, it shows that they have their own sort of organization that's kind of piloting this. And also the vendor attendance at our festivals and the farmers market itself. So we already have micro entrepreneurs, and I think that having a space of this nature is just kind of helping that spark to continue to grow. So I'm not proposing that the town take on responsibility of managing a fab lab. Let's negate that right here. What the IEDA is proposing is that we want to take this pathway to strategically redevelop our vacant building. Obviously, we are removing blight in the North Tazewell community. A+, that's what we should be doing. But with our fabrication lab, where we have a downstairs focus on agriculture and food science, we're serving that part of our community. And then the upstairs focus, that's where we start learning more about the community. What kind of trades do people need access to? What kind of technology do they need access to? So this is going to be a multi-year project. It's not going to be something that's up and going by fall of 2026. So in the time where we are trying to find funds to actually physically renovate the space, we need to learn from people who have done this successfully about what organizational structure is important, what are the pain points, where are the parts where we can fail, so that we are working for a physical rehabilitation as well as when we do have equipment and we are ready to launch, that we have trained up some citizen champions who are also interested in this type of work. So, where do we start? The agenda item right here is for a resolution of support for CPROP funds that we could use as a match for ARC Power. So the lovely Jordan Dillon, on site, we were walking through where do we go, how do we do this, right? The feeling of overwhelm of a project. She knew of the opportunity through ARC Power. Power stands for Partnerships for Opportunity in Workforce and Economic Revitalization. It's the bottom bullet, it's targeting federal resources to expand economic opportunities for coal communities like us by creating high quality in-demand jobs and attracting new resources. So what we are proposing is that this fall, as soon as tomorrow, Leanne can submit a letter of intent. We have to be invited to apply for the ARC Power. So they could say no, might kick the can down the road a little bit. But step one, we apply for a planning grant where Tim Danielson mentioned that they have an architect who has worked with USDA food grade. So again, having an expert come in, evaluate the downstairs space, letting us come away with a product that we could then use to find implementation funds. So again, downstairs, cannery / commercial kitchen, upstairs, a larger fabrication, a fab lab that encompasses trades, arts, things like that. So all the resources that I mentioned, there are way more out there, but again, the first point is for us to make the definitive decision of how we want to explore the space. And so our group met yesterday. We voted in support of exploring a fabrication lab, and so that's why I'm here rambling on to you all. What questions do you have?
What do you think it would cost to renovate the building?
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
The way it's been going.
The way it's been going, it's going to be astronomical. Right. So, as I mentioned, we've had a couple of PARs to affirm in the last couple of years. I think that when we plan, we are going to use someone who has done a USDA. Again, we need someone to come in and look at how we can make the downstairs food grade quality and follow all the laws that I'm aware of. So, Danny, probably millions of dollars, but I don't have we don't know yet because we haven't planned for it.
Well, the rescue squad's gonna be 800,000, you know, you're probably at $6 million.
Yeah.
The roof on it alone cost you $2 million.
Yeah, but.
So the other question is it worth renovating?
So, would you rather it be blight or be empty or be nothing? What would you propose? Like,
I'm
would you
just
rather?
asking if it, you know, is someone like Thompson Living gonna come in and engineer it, charge you a large fee to tell you you need this, this, and this, and it's gonna cost you this, this, and this? I mean,
We can advertise for procurement and get other architects and engineers to bid.
I know we're gonna need to put an elevator on the outside, make it, ADA compliant, yeah.
Yeah, you probably need something like that to get stuff in and out of Fab Lab anyway.
Correct, yeah. Thanks for calling our Fab Lab, Councilman Beasley, that was very kind.
Buzzwords.
Yeah.
So what if we get, sort of like with the bowling alley, we had integrated plans for the bowling alley, and when people went in and did the assessment on it, and they realized that it's better to tear it down than to have it standing.
Well, I think this is way better shape than the bowling alley because it hasn't been empty for over 10 years. This, remember, it is still not empty. It's an active public works site. So
there's still in.
Yeah, there's electricity, there's water. It is a usable hub. Does it look nice? No. But it is.
She got some drawings on that though, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got some drawings on that, right, from the facade improvement of what it
Correct.
could potentially
Yes,
look
yes.
like
Yep.
to visualize. What are in the Fab Lab, I don't know, because I'm equating it to something similar to the Southwest Virginia Advanced Manufacturing down at the Highlands Community College. And it's been years back, but one of the challenges that they ran into even down there with having advanced manufacturing machinery was actually getting cooperation and actually, because there's a cost associated with it, and employers typically have their own internal training methods. And I remember when talking to those folks, it sat unused a lot of the time. The video you showed demonstrated that they were teaching nightly classes. Who mans those? Who staffs those?
Yeah, great question. So some other Fab Labs are their own organization. So they have members who pay a monthly membership. The one in Roanoke, from what I've read on their website, has a key fob system. So if you're a monthly member, you can go in, you can have access to the different equipment as you need. But they also have opportunities for people, as you said, classes. So someone who is passionate about woodworking, like I know a guy who probably want to come in and do a woodworking class. Like that would be something that is community-led. And that's where one of the things that I think would be really critical for us, the Corel coaching, I don't think that's who we have to go to, but I wanted to demonstrate that there is consulting and training related to managing and operating a Fab Lab. So we would not have to be reinventing the wheel. There are actual experts who have gone from nothing to something, who are willing to talk to sites like us that have an empty vessel.
How many different owners are there to that building?
Which building?
Well, we only own the end portion.
Correct, yeah, so directly next door is the Horns. And then I think that they own until there's the gap in the road, and then it's Earl Keene is the next one.
Have you
And,
reviewed?
sorry,
Yeah, go
one
ahead,
thing.
you first.
I apologize. B&W Auto Sales recently closed. That's one of the business owners who came to the North Tazewell revitalization meeting at the train station. He's been in touch about how, he doesn't know his future plans, but, I don't know. But there's opportunity in that area of town. And again, that's kind of why we're trying to strike while the iron is hot, if you will.
One of the things, and we've talked about this and we've discussed it, that looking at the comprehensive plan, we talked about it with the old vision that we had with potential sports complex. One of the things that we're interested in, I think, and correct me because I'm speaking collectively, is we're interested in buying assets, right? So we're working on this farmers market pavilion. One of the concerns I have before I get down a rabbit hole is leveraging the funds to go on the next venture without having finished the first venture.
Sure.
And I know one of the items that we're specifically tabling is the paving of the parking lot. But these funds, are they earmarked for feasibility, design, planning, or how can these funds be leveraged? We're not going outside of the buoys for this $50,000 CPROC funds, are we in line with the intent for those funds?
So speaking of Jordan Dillon again, she seems to think that this would be a very useful tool for us to have, to be able to go for that ARC power and have that matching fund. The CPROC grant funds that we were awarded last went to the Sunnyside project. So it was used to renovate and make that into what's now the Traveler. But she seemed very supportive, very enthusiastic that this would be a good use of those funds.
So
And so
in
you're
the
saying-
spirit of finishing one project before starting on another one, could these CPROP funds be used and leveraged towards the pavilion?
Yeah, technically, if you guys want that, it's it, absolutely.
Okay. The other thing I was thinking about with the CPROP funds, especially if we're, and I think collaboration with the county is fantastic, they receive a lot more CPROP funds than we do. My last understanding was like 200 that they had.
It's already been spoken for, is what I asked, and
Okay.
they've already
Do they
applied.
know do you know what they spend it on?
I didn't ask, I didn't feel like I was allowed to ask.
You can always say
I've never
no.
done this before, okay? I didn't know I could ask a follow-up question.
Well, in speaking about trying to gain traction, what we've worked on recently is getting easements done we're exploring the option for adding mountain biking trails on our town-owned property in Bratton. And I do think that in this, we need to deliberately collaborate with the IEDA, work together, and we need to prioritize lists because there's a limit of funds that we can receive annually. And perhaps the power grant is separate from ecotourism. But that's one of the challenges that I think we could run into is dividing our efforts. And then, of course, resources are always limited. And knowing that, I mean, shoot, we thought we were going to have $1 million project with the pavilion. You know, we saw what the quotes came in, same with the EMS. I'm concerned about us splitting ourselves too thin to not be able to tackle targets deliberately and complete projects before we move on to the next one. One of the things, okay, all right, so how do we get past that? Something that would be helpful if the county's interested in doing a cannery and they produced information on it, I'd like to see that information. Because
And they haven't promised a set number of what they would be willing to put up for said cannery, but that has been.
But they've done homework on it, right?
Yeah.
So in our interest of buying an asset versus a liability, this material, the equipment, it's going to depreciate over time, it'll have to be replaced. There will be an expense to the town. I think it's a fantastic idea and a great start and a great presentation.
Thanks, bud.
But I do think that there's more information we need before we obligate $50,000 towards the project.
That's fine. I'm good with taking a beat. Like, we don't have to apply for it right now. I do want to, if we go for our implementation funds for CBDG, like, I'm good with waiting. I'm a logical girl here. But I would like support of maybe like, oh yeah, that will one day be a Fab Lab. Like, I don't want our IDA to have a blighted building in a block that we are working to advance. And so as long as this is something that's on a pecking order and a priority that we attack as a team, cool. I just don't want it to be forgotten.
So why would you put the cannery on the bottom floor and the heavy equipment on the second floor?
Because of the drains. Apparently a cannery needs drains.
And it can't drain from the second floor?
I don't know. I don't know anything about a cannery. I've not built one, but that was, having it on the lower level seemed to make sense to, like, as we walk through. Well, cool, you can be on our committee as we redo our Fab Lab. Help us direct what goes where. Sounds like a cool collaboration.
I don't want to tell you that, but I mean, it's simple gravity. I mean, it's going to flow from up here as well as from down here.
I don't care where it goes, like, as long as it's on, and 616 Riverside Drive.
I'm just saying a lot of the equipment that we saw is heavy equipment. It needs to be set on concrete. I mean, I've worked in
Sure.
factories.
I think the cannery stuff is also quite heavy, but.
So, okay, like the idea of the pecking order, like the idea of having targets lined up that we can knock down. What do you think as far as, like, is their information prepared? Do they have a final product? Like the county, Tim and Ashley, what they produce?
They have specs like what's involved in a cannery, what are the different, like the pieces of equipment that need to be involved, that kind of stuff. They've been looking at that for, this is, it was their idea, and they heard that we had space.
Right.
So I would like to add something to the conversation. So working with Tara and her IEDA team, I do think that there is a lot of action. And right now, we have mainly been focused on the North Tazewell area. So if council would choose to go this direction, I do know that it would have full unanimous support from our IEDA. We've already learned that it would have support from Cumberland's Landing Plateau. However, I'm hearing some concern about finishing one product before starting another project, not product. CPROC grant funds, the application is due at the end of this month. So if you all choose not to make a decision tonight, that's perfectly fine. However, if we would like to apply for these funds of $50,000, I need to know what direction you would like us to go by the end of the month, so I can get that application in, and we don't miss out on opportunity for those funds.
And my understanding with those funds is they were tied up with the traveler for quite a long time.
Yes.
Whereas if we use and implement, that's something that could become available again in a quicker amount of time.
So whether it be on this project or whether it be the pavilion project, and we're able to wrap that project up faster. Next year, CPROC will be available, maybe we can come back to this project.
And I think we've demonstrated that we can work on projects in tandem. I think our group has worked quite hard on the Clinch River Pavilion. So, and it's been 2 years. So Karen Weber at the BEQ says she uses us as an example of how quickly things can get done. I know that 2 years doesn't feel quick by any means, but considering how long the building was once standing and what is it about to be, 2 years is pretty quick.
And not to be off-putting, just this is the first time that we've seen the presentation. I didn't have it in the packet, so that's the reason that I'm asking for more information is in scanning through. Like I didn't have it in there, but so we've got through the end of the month to decide on CPROC, and then we could make that decision via email and ratify next month. Is that?
No. It has to be in the month.
Yeah, can you ratify it in October?
Correct. If they were to email vote in whatever direction we chose to go with CPROC, they could ratify it at the next meeting in October.
As long as she knows well before the end of the month what direction.
How much lead time do you need on preparing that?
Fun fact, so I'm going to be out of the office next week. If we could have, let's say September 24th, that would give us Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday. That would give us 4 days to be able to put the application together and submit.
And I'll reiterate, we're team players. I think we've demonstrated that over the last couple of years of like we approached you about selling the Ramey's lot and council asked us to stop and we stopped, right? So if you're saying not right now, but please also help communicate that when you get questions about the ongoing revitalization in North Tazewell.
So, what are we, with the CPROC funds, we've got $50,000 available? Is that the limit to what we have available for the ask? Okay.
Yes.
And we have till the end of the month. What projects do we have right now that are eligible for that?
Okay, so the Clinch River Pavilion, I'm sure that we could take those funds, put it down there for that project to completion with all the phases. Now, please don't hear me, I did not say we're gonna complete it, all 5 phases, but we could move closer to completing it. So the IEDA North Tazewell Revitalization Project, their mountain biking project, we could kick that off. I mean, there's a few projects that we could do.
Okay, my first thought is that I would prefer the pavilion be moved forward, use that to work towards the pavilion. And then especially if you guys are okay with being patient and moving towards that, but I mean, getting that pavilion done is going to show a commitment to revitalizing North Tazewell, and then that will lead to, I feel like that's a logical, step-by-step setup.
And I don't want to speak on behalf of IEDA, but I feel that, even if the resources were moved to that particular property, I feel that they would be very.
We obviously love it. I've been talking to you about it for a couple of years now.
And I just think
Yeah,
like
you're right.
that gives us more time to understand more of what we can do at the other side. They're interconnected, right?
Yes.
So to me, that's my first thought. Definitely love the idea, and I think it's great. I just think that's phase 2 of the North Tazewell Revitalization Project.
Do you want to make a motion?
I don't. If everybody else,
I agree with Joe. I mean, I think there's been a reputation we start projects and never complete them, and I want to get away from that. I want to, complete before we continue on. I love the vision, though. I think it's great.
The North Tazewell area should be already started. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And
Oh, you mean multiple years ago should have been started?
What?
You mean like 10 years ago should have been started?
It's dead. When the bowl line went down, everything fell down in the North Tazewell area. I think that the North Tazewell area, we need to get that started. And hell, put lofts up in the bathhouse, fix that up, and put restaurants or furniture places in the bottom.
So
We need to
no.
do that.
All right, moving forward. We do need to finish something. We need to show the citizens that we started, we need to finish it. And what you're proposing is to me, it's an adult location. And I love it, because I use these and make it. And it's just like you said, if you make a line on a piece of wood, you don't cut the line. That's your mark. You set that blade, I don't know if people know, but a blade is 1/8 of an inch. So you set it beside that mark to get a straight cut. And I'm not against it, and I think it would be great. But we need to finish that pavilion, and I mean finish it. The restrooms, the conference rooms,
Cool.
the paving.
Great.
And with the money we have 600 and
A little over 630, is that right?
$630,000 actual dollars.
Yeah.
I can finish that with $630,000 actual dollars.
That's why I thought we could move forward with C-Prop somewhere else. But I love the Quinch River Pavilion. You can ask my family, I talk about it way too much. So yeah, no, I get it. I kind of thought we were at a point where we could see that as something that the bow is about on, and we're ready and have energy and ability to start focusing on our next multi-year project. But if we need to take a beat and pass on this ARC power this time and maybe revisit it next year or whenever the opportunity comes up, cool.
I'd like to see it going quick. It's supposed to be done this summer.
No, we got our funds at the end of May.
Last year,
No, we got our funds in 2025. That's when we got our grant funds.
So this is out there. Has anybody been out by Food Line lately?
Yeah.
So with the workers they have in there, they're looking at maybe February the 1st of March to opening that clinic.
Yeah,
So how long have they been working on that clinic?
not long.
Not long. So what I'm trying to say is that if we get it started, we can get it done.
Yeah.
But the key is getting it started. And we have the money to get it started. And like she said, on the 19th, she'll have it be.
Oh, I know, yeah.
So we'll be there and we can get it done. But patience is a virtue.
But also in that, you're not doing the paving in this phase.
The funds that we had available, depending on the bids, we were hoping to be able to do construction, a site development, construction, and bathrooms, prep kitchen.
Right.
So if we get the $50,000, it's going to go a long way to pay it.
It would.
And that gets you closer to a finished product.
That finished product.
That only pushes you out if we take this vision on. So those funds are expended and we're able to apply September next year. Okay.
Not until September of next year?
CPROP, I think, is every September.
It's just September, okay.
And then another alternative to that is to see, well, if we figure out how long the county's CPROP funds are tied up, if they want to partner in on this could be their phase up.
It really, a partner, not to step in here, but it pairs with what they have lined out as their projects that they're interested in. Anyway, they should have a very vested interest in this. I'd be interested to see how vested they are before we jump in. You know what I mean? Like they talked about food processing, all those kind of things. Well, it's right in line with their projects, so I'd love to chip in on their project as opposed to
Sure. Together
taking it over.
we can make the, spread the funds out further. And also we're donating the building. So like, that's a great first start too.
Right.
So do we table this, or what are we at, Brett? Do we need a motion for?
No,
I'll make a motion to put the $50,000 towards to apply for $50,000 of CPROP funds for the Clinch River Pavilion.
Cool.
Second.
I'll second that.
I got 2 seconds. Any discussion? No discussion? All right, all in favor of applying for the CPROP funds to be applied to the Clinch River Pavilion, please say by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please say by saying nay. All right.
Thank you, Karen. Great presentation.
So next is the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission 2025 Hazard and Mitigation Plan Resolution of Support. A resolution of Town of Tazewell adopting the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission 2025 Hazard and Mitigation Plan update. Whereas the Town of Tazewell recognizes the threat that natural hazards pose to people and property within Town of Tazewell, and whereas the Town of Tazewell has prepared a multi-hazard mitigation plan, hereby known as the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan update in accordance with federal laws, including the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act as amended, the National Flood Insurance Act of 1968 as amended, and the National Dam Safety Program Act as amended. And whereas the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan update identifies mitigation goals and actions to reduce or eliminate long-term risk to people and property in Town of Tazewell from the impacts of future hazards and disasters. Whereas adoption by Town of Tazewell Town Council demonstrates its commitment to hazard mitigation and achieving the goals outlined in the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan update. Now therefore be resolved by the Tazewell Town Council that, in accordance with the Code of Virginia 15.2-1425, the Town of Tazewell adopts the Cumberland Plateau Planning District Commission 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan. While content related to Town of Tazewell may require revisions to meet the plan approval requirements, changes occurring after adoption will not require Town of Tazewell to re-adopt any further iterations of the plan. Subsequent plan updates Following the approval period for this plan will require separate adoption resolutions. So we'll do a roll call vote to for the resolution. So Vice Mayor Beasley. Aye. Councilmember Fox. Councilmember Klein.
Aye.
Councilmember Hankins.
Aye.
Councilmember Willis.
Aye.
All right, so adopted by a vote of 5 in favor and 0 against and 0 abstaining this 9th day of September 2025. All right, next is our miscellaneous section. Leanne, did you have anything? Miscellaneous public comment. We got one.
I've got something. So, at the old Raymond's lot, we started cleaning up all that debris.
Yes.
Coming up on a year.
Yes.
Can we not hire that out?
We can, yes. We can do like we did with the grass cutting, but
Exactly.
put an RFP out and then clean it up. It's just more or less been, we have more projects and
I
work
understand.
going than we have staff.
I
So,
understand.
but yeah, we could do that.
But it will take half a day for a company to come in there and do it at a lesser fee.
Okay.
Is that good?
I'm good.
Name and address.
Emily Combs Davis, I'm the executive director of Tazewell Today. Tazewell Today is at 160 Main Street. So,
Where do you live?
where do I live? I live on Combs Court. So, I am coming to you today about Tazewell Today. First off, I gave you all a letter, so you know a little bit about what's going on, but I wanted to give you an update on something else that's going on. So, Tazewell is a Virginia Main Street, and along with Virginia Main Street, they have trainings in the fall and in the spring of each year, and Tazewell has been selected to be one of the areas for the rev-up training that they have through Virginia Main Street. I've already checked a few mayor books to welcome everyone, so that is going to be on September 17th. Just wanted to let you know that
So
it's
it's on
going
the
to be.
17th?
Yes.
So and the next day is the...
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a busy week next week. So there'll be a bunch of people that are advancing Virginia Main Streets as well as exploring and mobilizing Main Streets that are going to be to the area. They have it in 3 different areas across the state, and we're in Southwest Virginia this year. But we also have another grant that we're a recipient of. So this is an exciting opportunity for the community, and I want you all to be invited to participate. So on Thursday, September 18th, at 6 p.m., Tazewell Today is hosting a community walking visioning tour, beginning at the library. So we're going to meet at the library, then we're going to walk up and down Main Street and talk about the buildings on Main Street. So this isn't just a stroll down Main Street, it's a chance for residents, business owners, and community leaders like you to share ideas and imagine the future of our downtown. We'll walk together, discuss what's working, identify opportunities for vacant and underutilized properties, and gather input on what kinds of businesses, services, and public spaces the community wants to see on Main Street, Tazewell. So this event is part of a larger statewide initiative, the Downtown Inventory and Real Estate Redevelopment Strategy Project is what it's called. So we are one of only 10 communities in Virginia that have been selected to participate in this. The project is led by nationally recognized consultant, Place and Main Advisors, and it's supported by the Appalachian Regional Commission, Virginia Main Street, and the Friends of Southwest Virginia. We're bringing outside expertise for data-driven analysis and strategic guidance to help us make informed decisions about the future of our downtown. So revitalizing Main Street isn't just about aesthetics. It's about building a stronger community. A vibrant downtown attracts visitors, supports local businesses, encourages investment, and enhances the quality of life for everyone who lives, works, and visits here. Your participation and support demonstrates the community that downtown revitalization is a shared priority and that the voices of citizens and leaders are heard in shaping Tazewell's future. So you're invited to participate in any of this project. The letter that I gave you shows that they have a kickoff meeting with the consultants in the morning. There is a smaller, just discussion community tour that is happening that morning, and then we have the whole big community tour that afternoon. Tazewell today has identified a couple of properties that we want the consultant to look at to identify some additional uses for them and to give those owners some information on what it could be, what it might cost to get it to what it could be, and how to either open that business or market that property so someone else could open that business. So there are several properties that we've identified. There is one that I really, really want that the owner is just not willing to let us look at this time. So one of the things I would also like them to look at is the green space, because this involves vacant property. So, and it's pretty easy to look at vacant property quickly. So you're invited to participate in any of this. The entire public is welcome for this community visioning tour. It has been, there's a press release that went out, and I'm talking to WBBA about it tomorrow. So wanted to thank you all for your time and your continued leadership and support of Tazewell.
Thank you. Thank you.
If anybody wants any of these, I've got a little information on the walking tour.
So was that, okay, so we'll move with council comments.
Can I ask you a question? Did you live in Tennessee?
I live second home in Tennessee.
You have a second home?
But this is not
I'd just like to say, thank you to Public Works. I know they've had some challenging times, and thank you for the work that you've done and the continued work to try to improve the water lines. Don't get discouraged. Don't listen to the noise. I mean, you're doing a good job. So just please convey that to the people.
For sure. I love you on the desert control.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
You got one?
Any discussion? Okay.
So is the summer send off, was it postponed or canceled?
It was canceled.
Okay.
We can't fit it in with all the other stuff going on.